So, it's been about 6 months since I started using the zeromouse. I just got back from Japan, and you guys loved the last video. So this video is meant as more of a follow-up video after the initial review of this mouse. How has it been holding up? Is it still as good as I thought? Has the honeymoon phase kind of passed as I've been using some other mice? And do I still use this mice on my desk, or have I kind of moved past it and realized maybe this isn't the mouse for me? So with 6 months of use comes 6 months of wear and tear, hand oils, sweat, dust that kind of accumulate on this open PCB. And I think that's one of the first things I would say I notice about this mouse. It doesn't look as fresh as it used to, and I can't simply just wipe it down easily either because it's an open PCB. Especially with the grip tape, I really can tell this is starting to lose its grip, and it's just from the hand oils, from the dust, from me wiping it. The mouse just isn't as grippy as it used to, and I find my hand just kind of slipping here and there once in a while when I'm really in the motion and flicking, because you want to keep a very loose grip on this mouse. You don't want to death grip it. Now the grip tape still works, it still feels quite grippy, but the hand oils and dust really does make it less grippy than when I first got it, and I can only assume with more time this grip tape's going to start tearing away, it's going to start becoming more slippery, and it's going to be harder and harder to use. I did try using this mouse without grip tape to begin with, and it really was hard. The material of the printed PCB just isn't something you want to be using as a grip. Now, I did see a video on Optimum's channel recently that seemed like he had updated the PCB of the zeromouse. With grooves on the clicks, I do feel like that will help a lot when it comes to the comfort and usage of this mouse, especially if you don't want to use grip tape. The clicks still feel crisp, still feel just as good as the day I got it basically. Probably the best clicks still to this day that I felt, just very light, very crisp, especially the OP1WE. Just feeling like really heavy clicks. Now, this is something you can get used to. This is something as you play more games, you get locked in, you really don't feel that difference. But once you put your hand on this mouse again and click these clicks, they are still some of the lightest. The scroll wheel has been something I gotten adjusted to. I did end up breaking the PCB, it seems though, and the piece that holds the scroll wheel is a little broken up near the front, so that the scroll wheel can now move forward a little bit, but it still works fine. It doesn't pop out, and it's only really noticeable if you're scrolling from the side. The skates have been nice. I can't really tell whether or not they're really that much of an impact, but they're high enough that they don't scratch on any of my mouse pads, unlike the G Pro X Super Light that might scratch on some pads. And overall, the experience with this mouse is still one of the best and most unique experiences I've had. Now to the main point. Am I still going to keep the zeromouse on my desk? Is it something that I feel like I want to keep there to have ready for when I want to play a game that requires it? And I think the answer to that is probably not. Now, it's not that this mouse isn't great. It isn't because this mouse doesn't perform as well as it used to. But when it comes to everyday tasks and gaming as a whole, I don't only play shooters. And I would say this mouse feels the best when you're playing games with high tracking and fast reactions. I play a lot of Valorant, I play League with friends, and I play whatever other game there is out there with my friends. It's not the most comfortable mouse when I'm doing anything other than playing those fast shooters, and this to me is fun to have out once in a while, but it's kind of like your track car. You go to the track with a car that's as light as possible, as performant as possible, you don't care about comfort. But what about your daily driver car that you use to get to work? What about that daily driver car that you use to go to a friend's place? This does not fit that bill. This is definitely something that's very specialized in a very certain type of game. So this will be something I keep. I really do think it's unique and special. It pushes the boundaries on a very specific genre of games, and I like that. So I've been talking about using other mice alongside the zeromouse on my desk. Now, what are those mice? Well, So I ended up hopping onto the hype train of the OP1WE, the OP1 8K, the Final Mouse Ultralight in small and medium, as well as the G Pro X Superlight 2 that my wife actually got customized for me, so thanks to her for that. Now I can make a separate video on why each of these mice are great, but the main thing these mice offer that the zeromouse doesn't is comfort and consistent performance across multiple games. Now, I would never want to edit a video on the zeromouse. It just isn't comfortable for long hours of editing. And the Superlight is the opposite of that. It's probably comfortable for long hours of editing. But in the middle, we have the ULX and the OP1s. These mice are kind of that in between. They work while video editing, maybe not the most comfortable, but I don't cramp up when I'm editing videos. And they perform great in game, especially the OP1 8K. I know everyone's been talking a lot about this mouse and how great it is, and I kind of jumped on that bandwagon. I also am on this hype train of love, and although this honeymoon phase for this mouse might die down soon, I still think this shape is one of the better ones, especially if you're a fingertip user. The ULX is still great in both small and medium, although I do find myself gravitating towards the OP1 over the ULX recently, as the shape might not have been as good for me as I thought it was, but there are lots of mice to still come. And I don't usually buy every mice on the market. I just gravitate towards the ones that a lot of people are talking about, or ones that interest me. So if you want to hear more about the zeromouse, let me know, because I think this might be put away, and if Optimum does release a version 35, I believe, maybe I'll look into it. I can't see myself getting a second one though, because if the changes are minor, even if it is like just grooves and stuff, I've still gotten the zeromouse experience and it's still been very fun. I just think maybe it's time for me to move on, to try something else that's kind of fit like a more one-size-fits-all type glove. Even if these mice here don't fit everything, they fit better than the zeromouse for everything, at least. So that's the end of the zeromouse to me for now. I do think it's still a mouse I'll probably bring back up every once in a while. It's still one of the most enjoyable mouse for certain scenarios, but I just think maybe I would prefer to have something that I can use all year round on my desk.